Hi everyone, welcome back to Abby's Digital Nook. Today we are going to be discussing all the things that I don't like about my Kindle Basic and my Kobo Libra Color. Neither of these devices are perfect. If I could just merge the two of these together, then they would be considered the perfect Kindle Kobo device. But alas, we cannot. So I'm going to start off with the Kindle. Before I start off talking about all the things I don't like, I also want to address everything that's been happening about the Kindle books and Amazon taking away the ability to download your Kindle books from the website and blah, 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 blah. So first of all, I will say that this is not something new. This is not a new revelation. This is not something that Amazon has just sprung upon everyone. It is something that has actually already been in place. It was just worded differently in the terms and conditions. And because it wasn't easy to understand, nobody knew. Well, a lot of people didn't know. And so they just assumed that whatever they were purchasing from the Amazon store was considered something that I own and not something that is licensed. Now, I will say Amazon has always been something that you license, and they're not the first company to do something like this. Put it this way, any company that forces you to have to use their program or their app in order to access your content, then it means that you don't own it. It means that you're licensing it. And the same applies for movies. The same applies for any type of TV show that you might have purchased, any footage, any possibly music. I haven't checked, but I know for sure it's not the same as it was back when we could download MP3s. So put it this way, if you have to use their app to access your content, you don't own the content. Unless you can download the content in a file format that is accessible in other programs other than their own program, you don't own it. So just remember that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've always known this, because when my daughter was little, I used to buy movies, digital movies for her. So I used to purchase my movies from Apple, and I could download them and put them into my computer, into a hard drive, and I have those movies. They're files that are accessible in any video program. It's in a file format that any video program can open. So when I started purchasing movies on Amazon, this was years ago, and they said you can only download those movies and watch it through Amazon's video app. You cannot download it as a file and keep that file on your computer and do whatever you want with those movies. And it was from then that I knew that, oh, I don't actually own this, it's a license. So I've always known that anything that Amazon gives to you that is digital is not owned. So that's why this whole thing, that when this came out, it's not a shock. And it was already in place. It was already in place. They're just letting you guys know. Also, the file format that they allowed you to download download via USB, was in a file format that was native to Kindles. It's not a file format that is native to other devices or other programs, hence why you couldn't open it in those other programs, and you had to do some kind of shady method to strip the DRM, convert it into another file format so you can use it on other programs. So technically that was not allowed. However, we do whatever we got to do if we want to keep our files. But the only reason they allowed you to do that was because the older Kindles don't have Wi-Fi, and so it's the only way for you to be able to move those files off of the Kindle, because you don't have access to do it over the internet. So that was the reason why they allowed that download. But now that they've phased out all of those old Kindles and they're all onto new Kindles, now all the new Kindles have Wi-Fi, they're like, okay, well, we don't need this USB feature, because all of those older Kindles that don't have USB, we don't even support those anymore. So that is the reason why that is something that Amazon is doing. Do I think it's good? No, I don't think it's good. I think that if we buy something, then we own it. That's how I see it. If I go to the grocery store and I buy an apple and I bring it home, and they say, actually, we're going to take the apple back, they cannot come to my home and take my apple. I purchased it. It belongs to me. It's in my house. I have it in my physical possession. But for them to come and take it is kind of crazy. So I totally 100% support stripping the DRM and moving it over to another device. Just saying. All that being said, I'm a big fan of having my files. I'm a big fan of having all my content in files that I can see, I can physically move around. And don't worry, you can still get all of your Kindle books. You just plug your Kindle into your computer and you can drag all of those books into a third-party app like Calibre. And Calibre has many tools and plugins that you can use to convert those files into a different file format so you can use another program. So you really don't have to worry about not having access to your books. Just download them all, put them all into a folder and sort them out. So I just wanted to touch on that. I know this is like a hot topic right now. Everyone is like freaking out and they're like, oh my God, I don't own my books. You never owned your Kindle books in the first place, unless you downloaded them, stripped the DRM and transferred them over into like a PDF or an EPUB. But anyway, so let's get into all the things that I dislike about the Kindle and all the things I dislike about the Kobo. And again, I wish I could merge them together and then it would make the perfect e-reader device. But let's start with the Kindle. All right, so the first thing that I dislike about the Kindle is when you purchase the Kindle, you're automatically purchasing a Kindle with lock screen ads, and then they make you pay money to remove those ads from your device that you purchased from them. So you have to pay an extra $20 to have it removed. Obviously, $20 is no biggie, but like, it's just, why even put it on there in the first place? Like, why force us to have ads and then you can't even control the type of ads that come on your screen? Like, you can definitely set parameters of like, you know, general or like niche, but you can't control like what's actually happening on your device, and they're doing it remotely. And because I know this because I'd contacted Amazon and said like, hey, like there are some books that are popping up as ads with like shirtless guys on it, and I don't want that. I mean, I do like reading, you know, romance books or whatever, and some of the book covers are kind of weird and crazy, and I don't want that popping up on the screen of my Kindle. And they were like, oh, well, you can like go in the settings on the Amazon app and adjust some things, but it's not going to completely stop them. It's just going to kind of filter more other topics into the mix, and so it won't be just those types of books. And obviously that was like the deal breaker for me. I was like, okay, let me just get rid of these ads because I don't need them, I don't want them, and I'm not trying to have these pictures pop up on my Kindle. Okay, I got a Kindle because I want to be discreet with the type of books I'm reading. I don't want it blasted and displayed like what I'm reading to everyone who's walking by. All right, the next one is the limited customization. So you can't install third-party apps. Obviously, there's no ecosystem that connects to an app store like Android device does. So no apps or anything like that. You're stuck only within Amazon's ecosystem only. Also, adding to the customization, you can't add emojis and stuff with your text. You can add like symbols and stuff, which I've shown you guys in a different video, but you cannot really do much with text. Also, the collections on the Kindle are literally just a box with text. It's not like on the iPhone app or the Android app where it shows you guys the previews of the books that are inside of the collection in a nice little grid. On the Kindle, it's just a white box with some text, and I think that not being able to customize that or like choosing a cover for your collections is a big pitfall for Kindle and the customization aspects of things. The Kindle Basic has absolutely no color, so you are pretty limited in that aspect as well for when it comes to reading graphic novels. And so that is obviously a big downfall on Kindle's side. Of course, they have the Kindle Color Soft, but I want a smaller device like this that has color and has buttons like my Kobo does. See, I want the buttons, I want the smaller device, I want the color. That's like another big thing that I don't like about the Kindle. Compared to an iPad or a phone, the Kindle is definitely going to be sluggish or feel sluggish in comparison, especially when you're typing, navigating menus, refreshing pages. And one of the biggest things that I think is so random and unnecessary on the Kindle is the web browser. They make a web browser and then make it so that no website works on it. The only websites you can access are like shopping websites. So you can access Amazon, but it's very slow. You can barely click on anything and it's a nightmare to navigate through. And then you can access like shopping websites. Like I was able to go onto like furniture websites and like look at pictures, but any website that has any type of movement, any type of video, any type of animation, any type of JavaScript, it's no. Like this thing melts down and just doesn't like, To me, it's so useless to have that on the Kindle in the first place if you literally cannot do anything with it. However, I do think that they need a browser to some capacity for when connecting to the Wi-Fi. You need to go connect to McDonald's Wi-Fi and then they make you click sign in. You need a browser to access something like that, so I can understand the need for a browser. But to have it as like a feature where you can browse the internet and then also you can't even stay logged in. Let's say Google is my homepage and I log into Google on my browser. If I close that page, everything's back to fresh. I have to log in again every single time I open the browser. It's so annoying and just a waste of time, to be honest. And actually the Kobo is very similar with their browser. Their browser is terrible too. E-readers that I've experienced so far have terrible web browsers. I think they just do a terrible job with the web browsing. So on the Kobo, I wanted to browse the web so that I could read webtoons on the web on the Kobo, which I very quickly discovered I cannot do. So I've had to do roundabout methods to download my favorite webtoons into a format that is vertical, and then I've had to then convert those into the size that fits for my Kobo and then upload it to my Kobo. So that's how I'm able to read all my webtoons on here. But it's a roundabout method, it's a lot of work, and it's completely unnecessary if they just let the browser work. The same goes for websites. There are websites that I like to read webtoons on that I just go on the web and I can browse it very easily on my iPad. I can go on my iPad, click on it and browse it. I just don't like the scrolling, the thumb movement. It hurts my thumb after a while, like scrolling on the iPad or on my phone, but I like the larger screen. I just don't like the movement of scrolling, which is why I really wanted the Kobo for the button. I just want to tap the button to go down and just move across the page. And so that was why I got the Kobo in the first place. I mean, I didn't purchase a Kobo, I got it as a gift, but that was why I wanted to get the Kobo in the first place, was so that I could read webtoons on it and also read comics and manga and manhwa in color. All right, another thing I don't like about the Kindle is the limited file support format. So the Kindle is limited to AZW, and the new Kindle, for a long time it was Mobi, and now it's KFX, and KFX is the one that is like completely like blocked from DRM stripping. Now you can actually do it, but it, like I said, it's a roundabout. You gotta scour the internet and find the information for yourself. But it's in KFX is how they've been putting all their books, and it only has the ability to read books that are KFX, Mobi. Actually, they got rid of Mobi. It was KFX, AZW, PDF, and EPUB. So they recently added EPUB a little bit before I got this Kindle, which is perfect for me because I get pretty much all my books in EPUB, obviously for this reason of the books being licensed and not owned. In order to get all my books from Amazon into EPUB format, I, like I said, download them into Calibre, transfer them into EPUBs, and have those stored on my hard drive as a backup. Also, one thing to note, it's about the Kindle, because the Kindle you can access Audible and access all your Audible books on Kindle, but I know a lot of people are like, oh, quickly grab your Audible books, grab your Kindle books, download them quick. So Audible is the one app that actually allows you to download all of your books. So that's the first thing I did. Every time I purchase an Audible book, I download it. I've downloaded all my Audible books, and I've also moved them all into my iTunes on my computer, on my laptop. So I have the file and I have another copy of it inside of my iTunes on my MacBook. So that is something that you can download. You do own that. Well, I don't know if they have a license, but if they do have a license, I already have the copy, so I don't know what to tell you. I already have it. So I downloaded it. You can just go directly to Audible and hit download and download the file. As long as you've purchased it and it's not like from your Audible subscription, you can download the file, put it on your computer, your MacBook, whatever it is that you use, and save that file into your hard drive. Okay, what else was I saying? It doesn't have access to any other audiobooks except for whatever's in the Kobo website. Same way Amazon doesn't have access to audiobooks unless they're in the Amazon Audible website. However, I think that what they really missed was having the ability to plug in wired headphones. Because I like to use USB-C wired headphones because I don't always like to use my AirPods. I don't want to always have Bluetooth headphones. Sometimes it gives me a headache. Sometimes I just don't want the radiation. I don't want the beeping sound because I can hear it sometimes. I can hear like a really faint beeping noise when I'm using Bluetooth headphones. I don't know if it's just my hearing is good or what, but sometimes depending on what headphones I'm using, I can usually hear a high-pitched noise. And so I like to just use the wired ones, also charging, all that stuff. So to not have the ability to plug in wired USB-C headphones is a huge miss, and something that I really don't like about the Kindle or the Kobo, because neither one of them can do that. In fact, the Kobo doesn't even have assistive reader, which is another thing I don't like about the Kobo. The Kobo does not have assistive reader, and I use assistive reader every single day. It is probably the best thing that could have been implemented into mobile devices, and it helps you take in the information so much better. You're listening to it while reading, immersive reading, and you're really taking in that info. And Kindle does have assistive reader. The assistive reader is really bad, and I've done a whole video on assistive readers and which ones I think is the best based off the Kindle or on my phone or on my iPad or whatever. So I take a look at that video and see which ones you like and how the method that you prefer. I prefer to listen to assistive reader on my phone because it's better than the one that's on the Kindle. However, if I don't have my phone on me, or let's say my phone is dying and I want to listen to my book while reading, I'll use the Kindle. I use the Kindle assistive reader. It's not terrible. So that, I think, is something that Kobo needs to do. They have no assistive accessibility, anything on there. It's just like, this is your book, that's it. Like, I don't know why they don't have it. Maybe because they feel like, oh, it's taking away from audiobooks, but I don't think so. I think that sometimes when they make audiobooks, the authors sometimes read terribly. I don't like their voices. I'd rather just listen to a AI person reading the book over the person that you chose to read the book to me. So at least I can have more control over the voice that I'm hearing, and I can set the pitch, I can set the speed, I can set the speed with any books, but you can set the pitch, you can change the voice to different voices, and that's something that Kobo does bad. All right. Okay, another thing I don't like about the Kobo is, yes, you can access PDFs, you can access documents, you can access files, and I've shown you guys a little bit on some of my other Kobo videos that you can access files on here. But if you are reading like a PDF and you want to zoom in and zoom out, it is so finicky and slow and glitchy and very, very annoying. Like, the zoom is really bad on the Kobo Libra Color. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't zoom in or out on anything. I adjust my page in advance before I start reading, and I don't touch it. I don't touch the adjustments. I don't zoom in, I don't zoom out, because it's just so glitchy. Sometimes it gets stuck and you don't even know where you're on the page, or sometimes it zooms in so far that you're just looking at like a white page, like a blank spot on the page, and you don't even know where you're at. So yeah, it's not a good feature on here. I think that the zoom on the Kindle is definitely better, but it's still, I don't know. I don't have anything to say about the zoom on the Kindle. It's fine. Oh yeah, so Kindles struggle sometimes with PDFs. Like, the formatting sometimes is off, like very off actually. It changes the format depending on what PDF that you drop in here. So it can get a little frustrating trying to read like textbooks or documents on the Kindle. I would recommend trying to read those on maybe an iPad or a phone, but yeah. That's another thing I don't like. Something that I think a lot of people have said they don't like about the Kindle, but it doesn't bother me personally, is the lack of warm light on the Kindle Basic. I know the Paperwhite has it, but the Basic is limited to just the standard blue light. And in my opinion, I don't even use the backlight in most cases. I think that when it's just on the natural or the lowest setting, I can see it fine. Especially I just don't like the bright lights in my eyes anyway. So I prefer to have it on like one of its lowest settings, and I don't need the warm light at all. It doesn't affect me in any way, but that is one of the things that I've seen a lot of people talk about and say they don't like on the Kindle. All right, so okay, Kindle Unlimited. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with Kindle Unlimited. I love Kindle Unlimited for the fact that I can find new authors, find books that I probably never ever read ever in life. I would never even picked it up. And I do really enjoy the fact that they're going back and redoing all the book covers to be cutesy, like cartoon covers that I'm really drawn to on older books, and just re-releasing them with new covers to draw readers like me in to read the book. So I do appreciate that. However, Kindle Unlimited is not really that unlimited for like the most popular books, and that I think is a big issue. Like, if I'm paying a monthly subscription to access your Kindle library, then you should let me access all the books in the Kindle library. It shouldn't be like whatever ones you pick. It should just be every book is unlimited in the Kindle Unlimited scope. I don't like that they just only have some here and there, and I still have to go and purchase new books. So I'm like, I'm paying monthly for the subscription, and then I still have to go buy the new releases. Like, the new releases should be in the Unlimited program immediately. If you're going to release it on Amazon, then you should release it in Kindle Unlimited, so that people who are paying you guys already monthly subscriptions don't have to buy the book again. Well, lease the book again, because we're not buying it anyway. Okay, another thing I don't like about the Kindle is the storage space. Now, I know the storage is big and robust for the size of a typical ebook. I know that a lot of people fit thousands of books on their Kindle, but let's say I just want to purchase one Kindle and keep it forever and have all the books that I want to purchase and read at some point in life on the one device, including manga, including graphic novels, big heavy textbooks, all the books that have giant files, series, and just keep going. The Kindle does not have enough storage space for something like that. They have their cloud storage, which I talked about in another video, so I will make sure I link that down below as well. But they have a cloud storage where everything is saved to the cloud and you can just download them to the device as you go. However, if you are on the I dislike Kindle train and I don't want to have my stuff stored in the cloud, I just want to access the specific files on my device directly without using the internet, then you're going to be out of space very fast if you read a lot of mangas and graphic novels, because those files are pretty large. And if you go to that video that I talked about, how much does the Kindle actually fit, then you'll see that you could probably fit like maybe 10 different series, full series of like 20 books in each series of mangas, because those files are huge. And you know, some people have an entire wall full of manga books and they would not be able to fit all that on the Kindle with its native storage. So what I don't like about the Kindle is not having an SD storage slot. But I don't think any of the latest devices have storage slots. I don't know if maybe the Books Palma or like any of the Books like BOOX devices have external hard drive storage, but they should be putting it in all e-devices. I think that is a big miss, because it's not even like I can upgrade to larger space. Like the maximum size space is the Paperwhite, which I think has 32 gigs, and the Kobo also has 32 gigs, but this is almost full. So like I think I have about 100 different mangas on here and about 50 webtoons on here, and this is almost full, and this is 32 gigs. So I'm just saying, like, I will fill mine up pretty fast. So I'm going to have to like move stuff off and put like the newer stuff on once I've read it. But I would like to just have everything on the device always and never have to remove it. So that's a bad thing for both of them. Again, I've mentioned this before, the lack of buttons on the basic. Like, I need buttons. I need to tap the button to move the page. It is very taxing to have to swipe on the screen or tap the screen. I want to just tap a button. I know that is why a lot of people have purchased clickers. Like on Amazon, a lot of people purchase these little mini clickers. I'll link it down below if you guys want to know what I'm talking about. But like, people have purchased reading clickers so that they can just put their Kindle down and just comfortably like just click the button in their hand, because clicking a button is nicer and easier than having to swipe or tap on the screen in a really awkward position and possibly adjust your settings as you're doing so. So that's another thing I don't like. That's something that Kobo does well. The color does very well with the buttons. That was one of the biggest selling points again for me, like I said. I also think that their navigation system could use an overhaul. Like, there's no like back button specifically. Everything is just kind of like, you have to tap in different places in order to get your menu down, and it's just not a very user-friendly interface. Overall, I think for a newbie or just for someone who likes simple interfaces, I think that they could definitely improve it. It's not terrible, but it definitely has room for improvement. Oh, another thing, also opting not to waterproof these basic devices is very strange. Like, why would you waterproof some devices but not the small one? Like, what? Like, it would make sense to waterproof the smallest one, because the smallest one is the one you're likely gonna take with you everywhere because you fit it in all your bags. So that would be the one you would want to be waterproofed, especially if you're going to the beach or you're going to the pool or something like that. You want to bring your small device, not a bigger device. So it would make sense to waterproof this device, but they didn't. So that was another thing I didn't like about the Kindle Basic anyway. All right, so now let's talk about the Libby integration between the two devices. So I like and dislike both. With the Kobo, Libby/Overdrive is built in. Now, that may sound great, but it's actually not great. Like, in order to navigate and find the books that you actually want to download, you have to go on your phone. You have to go on your phone and find it properly. And if you're looking for suggestions and you don't know what you want at all, then sure, just go on your Kobo and just click whatever they suggest to you. But if you want to truly filter things out and find what you want specifically, you need to go on your phone or go on the web, because it's not user-friendly inside of the app. It's very hard to discover new books on the Kobo. Okay, another thing that I don't like about the Kindle is when you have audiobooks on here, you can't organize them. You cannot organize any of the audiobooks into collections, which is so silly, and I don't understand why. Like, if you're gonna allow audiobooks on the Kindle, then at least allow us to put them into folders so that it's just not like blended in between everything. Everything goes into the uncollected folder, and I can't change the name of it or move it around. They're just in there, that's it. And then finally, if you sideload books onto your Kindle and you want to organize them into collections using the Send to Kindle app, using the Send to Kindle feature, like through your phone or through your laptop, then all your EPUBs are gonna upload in the format of what would be considered a PDF, although it's not actually formatted as a PDF. But basically it has different rules to how the native books on the Kindle are. So if you are on the Kindle and you upload to Send to Kindle, when you tap on that book and you want to download it to your device, if it's in the cloud, the Kindle cloud, and you want to download it to your device, then it will show the cover of the book. But the second you remove that download, but it stays in the cloud, it takes the cover away and it just leaves a blank box. And that's for any book that you've sent to your Kindle, like side-loaded and not purchased directly from the Amazon website. So that I think is annoying. I have found a workaround for that. You have to actually load your books using Calibre to your Kindle via USB, and there is a plugin that you can download and add to your Calibre that will allow you to make sure the cover is attached to it, and then it will basically load into your Kindle like an EPUB or like the native Kindle books that are in your Kindle. And it's not saved to the cloud, so it's just on your device in your physical storage on the device. So Calibre really is like your go-to if you want to have full control over your books and over what you're doing with them. But again, the cloud gives you unlimited storage space, so you could have 1 million books in the cloud. It's just that, like, if you want to see them all and just browse by looking at the photos rather than like the name of the books, then it's gonna be hard, especially when they're all like a blank box with just text on it. Like, I'm a visual person, so I remember to find things by looking at the images, but you know, to each his their own. So those are just some pain points that I had about Amazon Kindle and a few about Kobo. I could probably go on about more about the Kobo, but I haven't even done my Kobo review video yet, so I don't want to deter you from the Kobo, and I don't want to deter you from the Kindle either. I use both devices and I think they're both great. Actually, overall, there are just some things that they just do wrong, and I think that if they took advice from each other, the Kobo and the Kindle, and just merged their like best features together, we would have like one device that would just be everything that we need, or well, everything that I would need anyway. So yeah, so that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please go ahead, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're brand new to my channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little sit down chit chat with me today, and I'll see you guys in the next video coming up very soon. Bye.